Chosen one, this is no coincidence. September 30 isn't just a date, it is a warning written in the heavens. The air will be heavy, the energy dark. Unseen forces waiting to strike. God is sounding the alarm, and only His chosen ones can hear it. If you feel the trembling in your spirit right now, that's the sign this message is for you. Pause for a moment, comment 777 below as a declaration you are ready. And from my heart, thank you to everyone who has supported, whether through likes, shares, or even super thanks. Your faith fuels this mission. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal about September 30 could be the difference between protection and danger, between breakthrough and downfall. God's chosen ones. September 30 could be the day. Listen, please. The universe is not whispering, it is thundering with urgency, commanding you to take refuge within the holy walls prepared for you. Beyond your threshold swirls an unseen storm, a chaos no mortal eye can fully measure. This is not an ordinary day inked on paper calendars. This is a day when the veil between realms stretches thin like fragile glass, when unseen forces collide in ways that only the Spirit can discern. And is it not written, "For the Lord is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust," Psalm 91:2. If He is a fortress, why abandon His gates on the very day He warns you to remain inside? Countless voices will scoff, drowning themselves in the clamor of daily life, mocking what they do not understand. But you chosen one, you feel what others cannot. This is not paranoia, it is divine discernment. This is not weakness, it is sacred sensitivity. And does the word "not" declare? The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him. 1 Corinthians 2:14. What the blind call foolish, the chosen recognize as the signal of heaven. Ignoring this moment is not a small mistake. It is a dangerous gamble with destiny. Just as cracks in the dome of a cathedral threaten the collapse of the whole sanctuary, so ignoring divine warning endangers the entire design of your journey. The prophet Isaiah thundered, "Woe to the rebellious children who take counsel, but not of me." Isaiah 30:1. Is this not a mirror to every generation? Those who spurn counsel stumble into ruin, while those who heed are hidden under wings of mercy. History itself paints this warning. The painter Caravaggio, known for his dramatic light and shadow, revealed in his canvas The Supper at Emmaus, a burst of revelation when the world saw only ordinary bread. Light ripped through the darkness of blindness. Do you not sense the parallel? September 30 is such a moment, a choice between stepping blindly into peril or waiting until divine light pierces the veil. Why risk stumbling when illumination is already promised, and your obedience carries a ripple far greater than yourself? Remaining sheltered is not passivity, but participation in a cosmic chorus. Each act of faith is a note, and together they resound as a symphony of protection. Did not Christ declare, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden," Matthew 5:14, on that day. By staying covered, you are not dimming the light, you are strengthening the radiant chorus of the chosen across the earth. Modern voices echo this urgency. Pope John Paul II once proclaimed, "The future starts today, not tomorrow." How fierce and sharp these words sound when tied to September 30. If the future begins in this present hour, Then what decision are you shaping? Obedience that preserves or arrogance that destroys? And hear the ancient cry of music that endures through centuries. In Handel's Messiah, the chorus rises like thunder, and he shall reign forever and ever. These are not merely notes but prophecies sung into time. On September 30, the reign of Christ calls you into holy stillness, not to hide in fear, but to take your seat in authority. Yet the promise is not despair but empowerment. The Lord himself says, "In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength." Isaiah 30-15. The world may call it retreat, but heaven calls it triumph. The world may label it hiding, but God calls it reigning. This is the paradox of the chosen. By standing still, you are moving mountains. By obeying, you are conquering. This day is no coincidence. It is etched into the heavens, foreseen by ancient watchers of the skies. Their voices echo through the corridors of time, aligning with prophecy as if inscribed on eternal stone. This is not merely a day, it is an altar set in time, where heaven and earth meet, where obedience becomes offering, and offering becomes victory. Chosen one, rise. Rise in faith. Rise in holy defiance of the scoffers. Rise above the noise of a reckless world. On September 30, guard your heart. Guard your soul. Guard your crown. Remaining sheltered is not shrinking back, it is stepping into the arena of eternity, where shadows tremble at your stillness. Do not tremble. Stand. Abide in him, and watch his light scatter every darkness. The predictions spoken long ago are no longer distant echoes, they are now converging into today's reality, stamping September 30 as a day of colossal spiritual consequence. This is not imagination, not superstition. It is the unraveling of a mystery written into the very fabric of creation. How else can one explain that for generations the wise have whispered of this day, declaring that it holds the power to shift destinies? Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants the prophets, Amos 3-7. And if God revealed this through patterns in the heavens, what does that mean for you? Could it be that you are not merely a spectator, but a participant in prophecy? Could this date be stamped on your very soul as an assignment no one else can carry? Celestial signs are not random, they are the handwriting of God across the sky. The rare solar eclipse that aligns with this day is no mere spectacle for stargazers, it is a trumpet blast in the heavens. It intensifies spiritual currents, magnifying the unseen, opening portals of vulnerability but also of breakthrough. Is it not written? The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Psalm 19:1. Then why dismiss the very signs he sets in motion? To ignore the skies is to ignore the author who stretched them like a canvas. Every eclipse is a brushstroke in a divine painting, a reminder that you are living not in chaos, but inside a cosmic order designed with precision. This is not something to tremble over in dread. It is an invitation to awaken, to gird your loins with strength, to prepare for transformation. In nature, the eagle does not cower. When the storm comes, it rises higher, using the storm's violent winds to soar above the clouds. In the same way, could it be that this turbulence is not to bury you, but to lift you into realms the ordinary cannot reach? Just as the seed must break apart in the soil before it can become a towering tree, so must the chosen be shaken before they can ascend. And when you rise, you will not rise alone. You will become a sign for others who could not see the way until you took flight first. History itself bears witness to turning points written in the sky. When Christ was born, wise men followed a star across desert lands. When he was crucified, the earth shook and the sun refused to shine. And again the word says, there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Luke 21:25. If those signs framed moments of destiny, then why would they not mark another now? Destiny has always been announced, not in silence, but in signs. And those with eyes to see are never left without guidance. Could September 30 be a hinge in history? A day when your obedience aligns with eternity's plan? The question is not whether the signs are speaking, the question is whether you will hear them. Yet beware, there have always been those who hardened their hearts. Take Pharaoh of Egypt, a ruler intoxicated with pride, who mocked the plagues as mere coincidence. His arrogance led to his army drowning in the Red Sea. Swallowed by the waters he thought he controlled. His story stands as a scar across time. Resistance to divine warning always leads to destruction. Will you march as Pharaoh did, blind into disaster? Or will you choose to stand as Moses did, staff in hand? Parting seas through obedience, pride blinds, but humility saves. History does not flatter Pharaoh, it exalts the God who broke him, and it honors the one who obeyed. Even today, communities across nations have been sensing this stirring, preparing themselves in prayer, fasting, and unity. They know this is no accident. Can it be coincidence that multiple voices, astrologers, prophets, mystics agree with such striking clarity, or is it divine orchestration? A symphony conducted by the very hand of God, as Scripture testifies, by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word shall be established. 2 Corinthians 13:1. When so many threads are woven together, it is no longer rumor but revelation. These communities are like watchmen on the walls, sounding alarms, not for their own glory, but for the survival of those willing to listen. But many will remain trapped in their distractions, scrolling endlessly, numbing themselves with noise. They will not hear the quiet thunder echoing in their spirit. They will miss the invitation. Yet you, chosen one, hear it now. You feel the trembling in your chest, the unexplainable urgency in your soul. That is not anxiety, it is alignment. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. Do you realize what that means? It means you are counted among his sheep, that the shepherd has marked you, that your ears are tuned to a frequency the world cannot capture. You are awake while others still dream. Being chosen is never about comfort. It is both a gift and burden, light and weight. The universe has not singled you out to entertain you, but to entrust you with responsibility. You carry a frequency of heaven, a resonance of eternity, a calling to stand where others collapse. And yes, the world may scoff, but has it not always been so? Noah built an ark under the ridicule of men, but when the rain fell, it was his obedience that preserved the future. Your assignment is cut from the same cloth. It is not for applause, but for survival. And what greater honor is there than to be entrusted with the destiny of generations not yet born? Therefore, hear this not as fear-mongering, but as a direct charge. September 30 is not merely a date, it is an altar in time. The question is not whether it matters, the question is whether you will rise to meet it. This is the line where shadows tremble, the hour where heaven leans close, the moment when eternity waits for your yes. Chosen one, rise. Rise above the apathy of the masses. Rise above the mockery of the blind. Rise above the storms of uncertainty. Guard your heart. Align your spirit. And step into the design heaven has etched for you. The universe is not against you. It is waiting for you to take your place. Stand strong, for this is your moment. And your obedience will echo far beyond this single day. It is love. Yes, but not a fragile or sentimental love. It is a divine fortress built to shield your flame and preserve your spirit when the tides of darkness rise like an unrelenting flood. This is no ordinary affection. It is a cosmic architecture of protection, a design etched into the blueprint of heaven itself. Remember what is written, "The Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one." 2 Thessalonians 3:3. You are chosen because you have the resilience to endure what would shatter others, because the foundation laid beneath your soul was designed to carry weight no ordinary structure could bear. And is it not true that a building only proves its strength when storms come? Likewise, your exclusivity does not isolate you, it crowns you with responsibility. By embracing this revelation, you do not simply survive September 30, you rise into your role as a guardian of light, a living pillar in God's cathedral of eternity. Your awareness and actions on this day will not be contained within your private walls. They will resonate outward like concentric ripples across a vast ocean. One act of faith sets frequencies in motion, reverberating across spiritual dimensions. One can chase 1,000, and two put 10,000 to flight. Deuteronomy 32:30. This is your mission, not theory, not poetry, but a sacred assignment requiring courage, faith, and the daring to trust what eyes cannot see. September 30 is not just marked by cosmic alignments, it is scripted as an hour when the balance of energy itself shifts, when shadows and light entwine in a fierce dance. Have you wondered why you sense heaviness before others notice? It is because your soul acts like a tuning fork, vibrating with the frequencies of eternity, alerting you before the storm hits. This is a day when spiritual darkness swells, not to punish, but to provoke the unveiling of your strength. Even Christ warned, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full." John 10:10. The atmosphere may feel weighty, charged with emotion, unstable, as if creation itself groans. Blackouts of thought, emotional turbulence, even waves of confusion may sweep through communities. Yet these are not signs of abandonment, but of testing. As in physics, pressure is what transforms coal into diamond, so it is with your soul. The eclipse acts as the symbol of this test, a heavenly pause, a dimming of clarity meant to strip distractions so that faith alone may shine. Could it be that what feels like silence from God is actually the stage He sets for your voice to rise? Just as the moon dares to cover the sun, there will be hours when fear and doubt attempt to eclipse your spirit. But darkness is not eternal. It is only the shadow cast when light is temporarily hidden. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. This is the paradox. The darker the canvas, the brighter the light when it breaks through. You are called to vigilance, not panic, to stillness, not frenzy. In psychology, they speak of emotional anchoring, the act of grounding the mind in a chosen focus amid chaos. On September 30, your anchor is Christ, and your grounding is trust. Without it, you drift, with it. You endure, and endurance births clarity, turning trial into testimony. Think of this energy shift as a storm at sea. A sailor who loves life does not rush blindly into the eye of the hurricane. He drops anchor, secures the vessel, and waits for calm to return. Scripture affirms this wisdom. When the storm has swept by, the wicked are gone, but the righteous stand firm forever. Proverbs 10:25. On September 30, wisdom is to anchor your spirit, to secure your faith, to fortify your heart. And here, a story from an ordinary woman proves this truth. Maria, a simple nurse from Lisbon, once described how, in the pandemic's darkest days, she would whisper psalms to herself while standing outside overwhelmed hospital wards. She said, "It felt as if fear was a tide trying to drown us. But the words of God became like oxygen to my lungs." Her testimony shows that anchoring in God transforms despair into resilience. Does her story not echo what is now being asked of you? Chosen one. September 30 demands preparation not of the body but of the spirit. By recognizing the storm before it breaks, you take power from it. By standing grounded, you transform what should crush you into the very force that lifts you higher. This day will not swallow you, it will forge you. It will pass, but you will remain. Brighter, sharper, more steadfast than ever before. Rise, not with trembling knees but with unshakable resolve. Rise, not as one hiding from darkness, but as one commissioned to pierce it. Rise, because heaven has etched your name into this moment, and eternity itself waits to echo your obedience. While the world may be busy drafting invitations for celebrations, rushing to fill banquet halls, or losing themselves in noisy gatherings, September 30 is not appointed for outward laughter or fleeting distraction. It is not a day for indulgence in shallow pleasures, but a day carved by the hand of God as a solemn hour of refuge. Can you not feel it in your spirit, that tugging, that warning? Scripture affirms this urgency. Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and turmoil with it. Proverbs 15:16. The temptation of parties, the pull of noise, and the seduction of the crowd will not add life to you, but will drain the very oil from your lamp. And what happens to the foolish virgins when the bridegroom arrives and their lamps are empty? Matthew 25:3-4. Sheltering yourself on this day is not about fear, but about sacred honor. It is about acknowledging the flame God has placed within you and protecting it against winds that seek to extinguish it. Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? 1 Corinthians 3:16. On September 30, your home becomes more than walls and furniture. It transforms into a sanctuary, a holy chamber where prayers sound like incense. Imagine lighting a candle not to decorate, but to declare light in the midst of encroaching shadows. As the French artist Georges Rouault once said in his reflections on sacred art, "A bit of light, however small, is still a light against the night." His words echo the very call of this day, to preserve the spark of heaven in a darkening world. This is the moment to quiet the frantic rhythm, to inhale deeply, and to nourish the soul in stillness. The psalmist reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. September 30 is not an ordinary pause. It is a sacred Sabbath where eternity brushes against time. In the silence, blessings that cannot be seized through striving will descend like dew from heaven. Is it not in still waters that reflections are clearest? When the sea rages, you see nothing. But when it calms, the stars are mirrored perfectly. So too does your spirit mirror heaven when stilled from the chaos of the crowd. Your retreat is not weakness, it is an act of defiance against distraction. It is a declaration that your loyalty is to eternity, not entertainment. The German composer Johann Sebastian Bach once inscribed on his sacred works the initials S, D, G, Soli Deo Gloria, to the glory of God alone. In the same way, your act of shelter becomes a living inscription, your way of saying, "This day belongs to God." By resisting the empty noise, you tune your life to a higher frequency, a resonance the world cannot hear. And is it not written, "My people shall dwell in a peaceful habitation, in secure dwellings, and in quiet resting places," Isaiah 32:18. On September 30, the streets will throb with distraction. Voices will chase after vanities, and many will be ensnared by trivial amusements. They will laugh while their spirits starve, blind to the invisible battle unfolding above their heads. But you, chosen one, are not deaf to the whisper that cuts through the noise. You carry the rare ability to hear urgency woven into silence, to sense God's call beneath the roar of the world. A young teacher from Manila once told her students, "Silence is not emptiness, it is the sound of truth preparing to speak." Her simple words carry a weight that entire sermons often miss. Could this not be the very wisdom that separates you from those who sleepwalk through destiny? Your clarity is your weapon, your shield, your crown. When the whirlwind of confusion spins others into despair, your vision will remain steady. When fear grips the hearts of many, your faith will blaze like a torch. The Apostle Paul declared, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear but of power and love and self-control." 2 Timothy 1-7. This is what sets you apart, the ability to stand calm where others panic, to radiate peace when the atmosphere crackles with unrest. On September 30, your retreat is not hiding, it is rising into command, aligning yourself with the commander of heaven's armies. Chosen one, stand tall in your refuge. Do not bow to the noise. Do not surrender to the crowd. Rise as a living sanctuary. Rise as a flame against the dark. Rise as one who understands that silence with God is stronger than noise with men. September 30 is not a day to blend in, it is a day to be set apart. Guard your spirit. Fortify your dwelling, and shine with the clarity the world so desperately lacks. Rise, for heaven has chosen you for this hour, and eternity itself leans forward to see your faith. Staying rooted in your inner guidance and refusing to be swept away by external chaos is not merely a suggestion, it is a lifeline. The very difference between stability and collapse. Your spirit is not meant to blend into the noise of the crowd, it is meant to rise above as a clear signal from heaven. Scripture reminds us, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Psalm 119-105. If His word lights your path, will you extinguish it by chasing the false fires of distraction? Imagine yourself as more than a lighthouse. You are the last flame standing on a cliff in the midst of a raging sea, guiding not only your own vessel, but others lost in the storm. Your light is not fragile, it is sacred, and protecting it is your divine responsibility. How many souls could be spared from shipwreck because you refused to be dimmed? September 30 carries a dual nature, one path toward destiny, the other toward disaster. I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore, choose life. Deuteronomy 30-19. The choice has always been placed in human hands, but rarely has it been so pronounced. This day is no ordinary cycle of hours. It is a cosmic crossroad. For the awakened, it is a gateway to transformation, a key to breaking ancient chains and resetting the spirit. For the distracted, it is a trap disguised as opportunity, a snare waiting for the unwary. Does this not echo the parable of the two builders, one who built on rock and the other on sand? Matthew 7:24-7. When the storm came, only one foundation endured. Which will yours be on this day? It is a rare opportunity, an opening carved in time for growth, for healing, for the birth of profound awareness. But an opportunity does not guarantee victory. It demands preparation. Jesus warned, "Watch and pray, that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Matthew 26-41. How will you enter September 30, half asleep or fully awake? This day will magnify whatever is within you. If bitterness lurks, it will erupt. If faith is planted, it will blossom. The energies are like the rising tide. To one, it lifts. To another, it drowns. Could it be that the eclipse itself is heaven's metaphor, showing us that even when light seems hidden, it is only for a moment, preparing to blaze brighter than before? Nature itself mirrors this truth. Consider the phoenix tree of Madagascar, whose seeds only open after fire has passed through them. To the untrained eye, fire is destruction, yet for the seed, it is birth. September 30 will function in much the same way to the unprepared, a consuming blaze to the chosen, an unlocking of destiny. Which will it be for you? The prophet Micah declared, "Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." Micah 7-8. If the Lord is your light, then even the eclipse cannot blind you. Instead, you become like the flame hidden in coals, unseen to many, but ready to roar into brilliance at the appointed hour. But remember, there have always been those who scorned the warning. Nero of Rome, intoxicated by spectacle, threw feasts while fires devoured his city. History remembers him not for glory but for ruin, not for wisdom but for madness. His obsession with noise and indulgence blinded him to the disaster smoldering beneath his feet. And do we not see the same danger today, as countless souls choose laughter over listening, distraction over discernment? The fate of Nero stands as a scar carved into time. Those who choose spectacle over substance are consumed by the very flames they ignore. Will you follow his path, or rise as one set apart? Each step on September 30 will be like crossing a narrow bridge suspended over a roaring chasm. One foot placed in doubt could lead to collapse, while steady faith will carry you safely across. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. Proverbs 3-5. This is not about intellect, it is about alignment. Your inner state will be mirrored in the outcome of the day. Enter the ground, and you will harness its power. Enter scattered, and you will be scattered yourself. What is the bridge, if not your spirit balancing between fear and faith? Which side will you step toward? The solar eclipse on September 30 is not simply an astronomical phenomenon. It is a prophetic drama painted across the heavens. For a moment, light will be veiled, and shadows will stretch unnaturally. Yet even this blackout is temporary, for the sun remains untouched. In the same way, your spirit may feel hidden, pressed, or dimmed, but it is not extinguished. Could it be that this is the greatest lesson, that even when the light disappears, its power remains unbroken? September 30 is not just about watching the sky darken. It is about realizing that within your soul, a greater light waits to rise, unshaken by eclipses and unafraid of shadows. Chosen one, stand. Stand like the beacon set high upon the cliffs. Stand with clarity while others stumble in confusion. Stand as the bridge between chaos and order, as the flame that refuses to be snuffed out. September 30 is not against you. It is the proving ground of your destiny. Rise into it with unflinching faith, and the blackout of the sun will only reveal the brilliance of your spirit. This celestial alignment is not silent. It roars with hidden intensity, amplifying the vulnerability of every soul not grounded in faith. The atmosphere becomes porous, like a fortress with cracks in its walls, making it easier for hostile influences to breach the aura of the unprepared. Scripture warns us, be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. 1 Peter 5-8. Blackouts in the physical realm may not be coincidences, but echoes of a deeper dimming, a reflection of the spiritual veil thinning. When eclipses arrive, the barrier between dimensions is stretched like glass under pressure, and the weight of unseen forces begins to bleed into the physical. Do you not feel how the air thickens? How emotions stir unnaturally? How even silence carries a charge? During these cosmic thresholds, spiritual activity does not decrease, it intensifies. This can erupt as heightened sensitivity, emotional storms, or even direct assaults from dark entities seeking to exploit moments of weakness. The prophet Paul spoke of this when he urged, "Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." Ephesians 6:11. For chosen ones, this is not a time for fear, but for preparation. Prayer, meditation, and cleansing rituals are not optional. They are the reinforcement of your soul's walls. Much like resonance in physics, when two frequencies align, they magnify each other. On September 30, either your faith will resonate with heaven and amplify your protection, or your doubt will resonate with darkness and expose your cracks. Which frequency will your spirit vibrate with? History reminds us that eclipses have rarely passed quietly. They have often coincided with upheaval, transformation, and shifts that rippled across both nations and individuals. Was it not written, "The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord"? Joel 2:31. These patterns teach you to interpret September 30, not with dread, but with readiness. Shield yourself with faith. Gird yourself with prayer, and you will not stumble. God's directive to remain indoors is not superstition. It is wisdom forged in the fire of divine foresight. It is the same God who commanded Noah to enter the ark before the rains came, sealing him inside until the judgment passed. Could September 30 be another ark moment for the chosen? A sheltering that separates those who listen from those who scoff? The physical environment itself will testify of instability. Electrical blackouts, shifts in atmospheric energy, even subtle tremors in the Earth's magnetic field may mirror the inner turbulence. The world will call it coincidence, but you will know it as alignment. God's command to shelter is more than physical safety. It is energetic preservation. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalm 91:4. Step outside in defiance, and you risk exposure to currents that drain your spirit. entities that cloud your thoughts, and vibrations that erode your clarity. Stay inside, and you remain hidden beneath his wing, preserved until the storm subsides. Think of your dwelling not as brick and wood, but as a fortress, a sanctuary where divine frequencies reverberate most strongly. In architecture, resonance chambers amplify sound within cathedrals, turning whispers into thunderous echoes. In the same way, your home purified, prayed over, saturated with Scripture, amplifies God's protection. Do you recall how the Israelites were told to remain in their homes on the night of the Passover, marking their doors with blood as a sign? When I see the blood, I will pass over you. No destructive plague will touch you. Exodus 12:13. That was not fear, it was obedience. And obedience birthed deliverance. In modern times, ordinary voices carry the same truth. A bus driver named Daniel from Nairobi once shared how, during a citywide blackout, he sat in silence in his parked bus, repeating Psalm 23. He said, "I could not see the road, but peace filled me as if light was inside me." His words remind us that divine stillness can become the only map when external light fails. Is this not what September 30 will demand, that you draw light from within when the world outside is swallowed in shadow? And is this not the very essence of faith, that when the natural world offers no direction, your spirit becomes the compass pointing to God? Such testimonies from ordinary lives prove that divine guidance is not reserved for prophets alone. It flows through anyone willing to pause and listen. By obeying this divine directive, you are not shrinking back but rising into alignment. Stillness becomes strength, restraint becomes weaponry, and silence becomes symphony. In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Preparation is the only way to navigate this day with clarity. Cleanse your home. Remove clutter. Cast out energies of confusion. Fill the air with worship. Light candles as symbols of unextinguished hope. And let prayer saturate your walls. Meditation is not escape, it is anchoring. It centers your mind, calms your breath, and sharpens your hearing to catch the faint yet unmistakable whispers of heaven. In truth, your home becomes like a cathedral built without stone, a holy architecture sustained not by bricks but by faith. Will you not build this sanctuary before the storm passes overhead? Chosen one, rise not into frenzy, but into faith. Rise not into panic, but into preparedness. Rise not as one stumbling in darkness, but as one lit from within, a living sanctuary carrying the frequency of heaven. September 30 is not your downfall, it is your proving ground. The world will remember who stood firm in silence, while others collapsed in noise. Rise, for your obedience will not only shield you, it will ripple across eternity. And when generations yet unborn retell this story, they will say that you stood when others fell, that you guarded the flame when shadows tried to smother it. Heaven is watching, history is recording, and eternity is leaning forward, so rise. Chosen one, rise into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Make space for multiple moments of silence, scheduling them as sacred appointments where your body unwinds and your spirit regains strength. Stillness may feel unnatural in a world addicted to constant motion, yet it is precisely what your soul cries for in this season. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Gratitude must be your compass during these pauses. Thank God for what has been, and thank Him in advance for what is to come. for gratitude itself becomes a shield. Is it not written, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you"? 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Gratitude is not an afterthought, it is the architecture of resilience, the scaffolding that holds your soul upright when the winds rise. This calm gratitude is not an empty ritual, it forges spiritual armor stronger than iron. With it, you face September 30, not trembling, but clothed in grace and confidence. On this day, social engagements and financial dealings are not harmless distractions, they are spiritual traps. The energy will be volatile, charged, unpredictably, like static in the air before lightning. Deals, negotiations, and handshakes may open doors to manipulation, deception, or loss. Parties and celebrations will not feed your joy, they will siphon your strength and scatter your focus. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Does this not reveal the danger of mingling where God has asked for retreat? Imagine your energy as a reservoir finite, precious, and holy. On September 30, every careless word and every reckless meeting drains it further. Every interaction will matter. Every handshake will chip at your clarity. Every loud gathering will fracture your peace. This is not the day to maintain appearances or to appease obligations. It is the day to withdraw into sacred discipline. The Spanish mystic Teresa of Avila once wrote, "Settle yourself in solitude, and you will enter into yourself and your God." Her words echo across centuries into this moment. Solitude is not weakness, it is the royal chamber where strength is birthed. When the crowd stumbles, you will stand because you chose to guard your lamp instead of pouring its oil into the fire of vanity. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Proverbs 27:12. Your obedience in retreat will not leave you poorer, it will leave you whole. This disciplined withdrawal ensures that you emerge from September 30 intact, carrying light into the new cycle God has written. Yet make no mistake, this day will test you as fire tests metal. It will not come only in the form of hardship, but through subtle temptations, the urge to ignore warnings, the itch to chase distraction, the whisper to indulge in risky pleasures. Will you yield, or will you resist? No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, he will also provide the way of escape. 1 Corinthians 10:13. Your discipline becomes that way of escape, the key to passing through unscathed. Every choice you make will either fortify or weaken you. With each act of obedience, each prayer, each meditation, each refusal of distraction, you are laying a stronger foundation beneath your soul. Think of the Colosseum in Rome. It still stands after centuries because its foundations were anchored deep into the earth. In the same way, your spirit becomes unshakable when built on obedience. A farmer named Elias from a small Greek village once said, "I survived the drought because I refused to waste water on what would not last." His simple wisdom is divine strategy. Do not waste your spiritual energy on barren ground when storms are coming. The pressure of this day will not break you, it will refine you. Just as a diamond is born through unimaginable pressure, your spirit will emerge sharper, purer, and more radiant. For you, O God, tested us, you refined us like silver. Psalm 66:10. September 30 will not be your undoing, it will be your unveiling. Yes, the energy will feel heavy, electric, like walking beneath storm clouds crackling with unseen fire. But the heaviness is not meant to crush you, it is meant to awaken you. Every surge of interference, every sudden mood swing, every intrusive thought is proof that you are at the center of a spiritual battlefield where your victory is already declared. Chosen one, rise. Do not surrender your energy to the crowd. Do not hand over your light to the storm. Guard your soul with gratitude, with solitude, with prayer, with unwavering discipline. September 30 is not against you, it is for you. A day scripted to reveal the diamond within. Rise with patience. Rise with trust. Rise with a strength that silence itself has forged. And when the storm passes, your resilience will shine as a beacon for generations who follow. The atmosphere of September 30 will not be gentle. It will press against your mind and emotions like relentless waves battering a fragile shore. This is why grounding is not an option, but a command. Practices as simple as walking barefoot on safe ground, steadying your breath with deliberate rhythm, or envisioning roots stretching from your feet deep into the earth's molten core are not mystical games, they are anchors in a storm. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He causes me to stand on the heights. Psalm 18:33. Each act of grounding stabilizes your inner frequency, preventing your spirit from being tossed like a leaf in the wind. Have you not felt how quickly chaos spreads when one loses their center? Then how much more vital is it now to remain unmoved while others are swept away? Intensity is always temporary, but its consequences are eternal. By grounding yourself, you create a shield, a resonance field around your life that keeps you tethered to clarity and divine love. In physics, resonance stabilizes oscillations, and in the same way, your spirit resonates with heaven when you choose stillness. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. Grounding turns you into a harbor quiet, steady, immovable, while the sea outside rages. Do you realize what power it is to become a harbor when the world becomes a storm? Others may crumble under spiritual turbulence, but your peace becomes testimony that God still reigns in the chaos. Protection, however, is not automatic. It demands your conscious agreement. God's warning to remain indoors and avoid certain patterns of behavior is no suggestion, it is covenant. Just as he told the Israelites to remain within their houses during the Passover night of judgment, so now he calls you to honor the covering. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. Exodus 12:13. Obedience places you beneath his wings. Disobedience tears down the walls of protection, leaving your spirit vulnerable to attack. Why risk dismantling a fortress God himself has built for you? Is it worth stepping outside when the storm is meant to pass over you in safety? This is not about cowering in fear, it is about respecting spiritual law, the unseen architecture of the universe. It is, in essence, a contract. You align with God's blueprint, and he responds with covering. If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. Isaiah 1:19. Free will is the most powerful gift you were ever given, but gifts come with responsibility. Will you use that will to obey, or to rebel, to honor the unseen or to dismiss it? The answer carves your destiny. And history whispers of those who mocked divine warning. King Belshazzar of Babylon, who drank from sacred vessels during his feast, was slain that very night. His kingdom shattered. His arrogance toward the holy sealed his downfall. Do you see how quickly rebellion turns into ruin? When you obey, your obedience itself becomes strength. anchoring you in God's grace as the world sways like a ship in tempest. For though the storm lasts only 24 hours, its weight is immeasurable. It is a threshold moment, a hinge of history. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. 2 Corinthians 4:17. What is a single day compared to the shift of a lifetime? September 30. Liang Chen Ling Wu is more than a date. It is a fulcrum on which your spiritual path will pivot. The decision you make will echo into months, years, even decades, reshaping your growth, your relationships, and your place in eternal design. Ordinary lives testify to this truth. A seamstress named Helena from Warsaw once said, "When the sirens of war sounded, I survived not by running wildly, but by obeying the call to shelter." Her obedience saved her family. And years later, she reflected that it was the discipline of stillness, not action, that preserved life. If simple obedience could preserve during earthly war, how much more can it preserve during spiritual battle? Chosen one, stand. Stand grounded. Stand obedient. Stand unshaken when the skies darken. Do not treat September 30 as common. It is consecrated. Rise into this covenant moment, for your obedience will draw a shield of glory over your life and ripple into eternity. This day is not ordinary. It is a trumpet blast to awaken, a summons to embrace change, and a command to trust the invisible hands shaping your path. Time itself is not random. It is a sacred architecture, where every second is a brick, every hour a column, and every day a vaulted ceiling rising toward eternity. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Psalm 90:12. If one day can contain a miracle, if one sunrise can shift the destiny of nations, how much more can September 30 reshape the course of your life? By preparing now, you are not waiting idly. You are constructing a fortress of awareness so that when the storm arrives, you meet it awake, armored, and aligned. Do you realize how dangerous it is to be asleep when heaven has sounded the alarm? This single day may stretch you, may press against your limits, but it will also transform you. It will open doors you thought forever sealed, pour light into wounds you buried long ago, and shine fire into the darkest corners of your being. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. September 30 is not designed to crush. It is designed to refine. The fire is real, but so is the gold it reveals. The covering around you is no illusion. It is a spiritual shield, invisible yet impregnable, guarding mind, body, and energy when you walk in obedience. Can you not sense how even now that shield strengthens when your spirit bows to God's command? Most days, that protection is subtle, a steady hum like the frequency of the earth itself. Quiet, yet unshakable. But on September 30, the covering requires your agreement. If you walk away from it, even for a moment, you leave the resonance chamber of divine safety, stepping into interference that distorts your clarity. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. If dwelling secures you, what happens when you wander? Will you choose to test the storm, or will you remain under the shadow where no arrow can pierce? One step outside the sanctuary could cost more than you can fathom. For spiritual laws are as exact as physical ones break the covenant. And you break the shield. God is not warning you to control you. He warns because his love burns hotter than your comprehension. Whom the Lord loves, he corrects. Just as a father, the son in whom he delights. Proverbs 3:12. Think of a parent telling a child not to touch the flame. The child sees beauty, but the parent sees danger. The warning is not cruelty, it is compassion. A woman named Sophia, a seamstress from Buenos Aires, once told her granddaughter that she burned her hand as a child because she ignored her mother's warning not to touch the stove. It looked harmless until the pain taught me. She said, "This is exactly what God longs to spare you from the scars that come from ignoring his voice. Will you trust him now? Or will you wait until the fire proves itself through pain? The flame is real. And stepping outside the boundary God has drawn is stepping into it unguarded. To the world, September 30 may look ordinary, but spiritually it is a battlefield. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Ephesians 6:12. When you walk outside of God's covering, you are not just physically exposed, you are emotionally stripped, mentally disoriented, spiritually vulnerable. Attacks will hit harder. Confusion will feel like a heavy fog. Exhaustion will descend like chains on your shoulders. Will you gamble with your peace for the sake of appearances? Your obedience is not weakness, it is wisdom, precisión, and strength. It is not paranoia, it is partnership. Imagine a symphony where every instrument must follow the conductor. Obedience is harmony with heaven's score. When you obey, you remain in rhythm with the divine orchestra, resonating with the music that keeps creation itself alive. If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. Isaiah 1:19. Those who walk in the Spirit will always be misunderstood by those trapped in the flesh, but their misunderstanding cannot void your protection. Chosen one, rise. Rise into obedience. Rise into stillness. Rise into the unshakable covering God has promised. Do not step into the storm when the ark door is open. Stay indoors. Stay shielded. Stay aligned. September 30 is not your enemy, it is your proving ground. Rise, for your faith will become the shield that echoes into eternity. And on September 30, the line will be drawn more sharply than ever before. People will laugh. They will scoff at the idea that a single day could carry eternal weight, treating a divine warning as nothing more than superstition. Phones will buzz with memes. Social feeds will fill with mockery. And voices will rise in arrogance, declaring, "Nothing will happen." Yet laughter has never been a shield, and mockery has never cancelled truth. There shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts. 2 Peter 3:3. Can derision stop the tide from rising? Can sarcasm block the lightning when it strikes? Every sneer is like straw tossed into a storm. It vanishes without power when the wind of judgment comes. They may jeer now, but silence will fall when heaven speaks through the skies. History thunders its reply. Divine warnings are rarely heeded until it is too late. Before the flood, the people jeered at Noah as he built an ark under a cloudless sky. Their laughter echoed until the first raindrops silenced their pride. And when the waters surged, the doors were already sealed shut. By faith Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear built an ark to save his family. Hebrews 11:7. The same pattern repeats now. Many dismiss this message as overblown, superstitious, or theatrical, but when the spiritual shift strikes like a thunderclap, when the atmosphere bends and hearts quake, their world will flip upside down. Will you be swept away with them? Or will you stand with Noah in holy fear? The ark is not wood this time, it is obedience. And only those inside that covering will endure the storm that follows. You must not let mockery fracture your obedience. The chosen are not called to blend with the crowd. They are called to rise above it. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Let them party. Let them doubt. Their laughter is temporary. Your preparation is eternal. While they scroll and boast, you will be cleansing your sanctuary. And when the shadow falls, they will remember the words they mocked and the strength you revealed by standing firm. This is the threshing floor moment. The hour when wheat and chaff separate, when the bold in spirit shine forth. Will you be found among the scoffers or among the steadfast? Your preparation may seem invisible today, but tomorrow it will become the testimony others cling to. Your silence will speak volumes. Your obedience will thunder louder than arguments. Your refusal to join the crowd will echo like a trumpet in heaven. A Polish violinist, Henryk Schering, once said, "Silence is sometimes the most powerful note in music." How true that becomes now. Your quiet obedience will be louder than their empty noise. When the haze lifts and clarity returns, many who doubted will search desperately for guidance, and they will find you, one of the few who saw the truth and chose wisdom over popularity. The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. Proverbs 29:25. You will not need to prove yourself. Your endurance will be the proof. What seems like restraint now will shine as unmatched strength when the storm has passed. September 30 is not a stage for religious performance. It is a crucible for spiritual alignment. The test is simple, yet piercing. Will you obey when obedience is lonely? Will you remain firm when faith looks foolish? If you love me, keep my commandments. John 4:5. God already knows your heart. This day is about you discovering where you truly stand. Many will claim they follow him, but their actions will betray divided loyalties. They will cling to logic over faith, busyness over prayer, popularity over obedience. And what will it cost them? Their lack of discernment will become their downfall. This is not about appearances, it is about essence. The moment where masks fall and authenticity is revealed. Meanwhile, those who keep their spirits tuned to God's frequency will taste intimacy like never before. While others collapse in confusion, the chosen will feel waves of divine peace cascading over their souls. While others exhaust themselves chasing shadows, you will walk anchored in light. In Verdi's Requiem, there is a passage where the orchestra crashes in chaos, and yet a single soprano voice soars above, clear, unwavering, defying the storm of sound. That is you, chosen one. On September 30, your faith will be the note that rises above the noise, piercing darkness with clarity. The louder the world roars, the brighter your note will sound, not because you forced it, but because heaven breathed through you. Chosen one, rise. Rise above the mockery, above the scoffers, above the shallow games of men. Rise into obedience, into silence, into the radiant shield of God. This is not the hour to hide, it is the hour to stand firm. September 30 is not against you, it is for you. Rise, because heaven has marked you for this moment, and eternity itself leans forward to witness your faith. The eyes of angels, prophets, and generations gone are fixed upon you now, waiting to see how you will carry this mantle. Rise, and let your faith echo louder than their doubt. It is about tuning your spirit to His nudges, catching the faint vibrations of His presence, and responding without hesitation to His call, even when the world mocks it as nonsense. Heaven whispers in frequencies only the spiritually awake can perceive. On September 30, God will not thunder across the skies, He will whisper in the stillness. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. Will you hear that whisper? Or will you drown it out with noise? This day is not merely a test, it is revelation itself, exposing who truly aligns with heaven and who remains lost in the static of the world. Your actions will speak louder than proclamations. By obeying without seeking the applause or approval of others, you prove to God that your relationship with Him is not shallow performance, but deep covenant. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. James 2:17. And yet, the enemy knows this day carries weight, and he will weave traps more subtle and insidious than before. These snares will not look evil, they will masquerade as ordinary circumstances, as opportunities, even as blessings. Isn't it always so? The serpent did not hand Eve a thorn, but a fruit that looked desirable. September 30 will mirror that deception, a setup cloaked in normality. The distractions will scream louder, the temptations will tug harder, and the false opportunities will gleam brighter. Each is designed to hijack your intuition and lure you into confusion. Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11:14. Could it be that the very thing that looks urgent or appealing is the doorway to regret? The traps will not be random, they will be crafted to target your vulnerabilities. Maybe it's a phone call reopening an old wound. Maybe it's a gathering that promises joy but drains your light. Maybe it's a decision presented as urgent but secretly meant to ensnare. Will you discern the difference between the counterfeit and the authentic? The enemy rarely arrives with horns and fire, he arrives disguised in preference, wearing the very mask of your desires. Jesus warned, "Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves." Matthew 7:15. If something feels rushed, pause. If something feels glittering yet heavy, step back. This is not paranoia, it is wisdom sharpened by foresight. Nature itself echoes this truth. The anglerfish lures its prey with light in the deep ocean. But that glow is death disguised as beauty. Is not the same true in the spiritual realm, where not everything that shines is light? History also warns us. King Saul, once anointed, lost everything because he listened to the pressure of the crowd instead of obeying God's clear instruction. He spared what should have been destroyed and thought partial obedience was enough. That single act of compromise cost him his throne, his legacy, his peace. His downfall still cries through the ages. Disobedience to divine instruction, no matter how small, opens the door to ruin. Will you repeat Saul's error? Or will you stand firm like Daniel, who refused to bow when the world demanded it? On September 30, the spiritual realm will be highly charged, more active than on ordinary days. Every thought will echo louder. Every emotion will carry more weight. Every choice will ripple further. By staying indoors, praying, and keeping your energy anchored. You step outside the enemy's reach. Submit yourselves, then, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. James 4-7. Obedience is the escape route already laid out for you. The path has been prepared. The only question is whether you will walk it. When you cleanse your space, still your mind, and listen for the whisper, you rise above the setup. You become untouchable not because you hid in fear, but because you walked in foresight. Like an eagle soaring above the storm, you do not escape the wind, you master it. Like a tree rooted deep, you do not avoid the storm, you endure it until the sun returns. September 30 is the storm, your obedience is the anchor. Chosen one, rise. Rise into discernment, sharper than deception. Rise into obedience, stronger than temptation. Rise into light brighter than every counterfeit. This is not the time to stumble into snares, it is the time to step into victory. Stay covered. Stay tuned. Stay anchored. For September 30 is the proving ground where faith becomes fire and obedience becomes your shield. Do not be the one who notices the snare only after your foot has been caught. Be the one who discerned it before it was laid, who prepared while others laughed, who stood ready when the trap was sprung. You have felt it for years, that quiet yet unshakable knowing that you are different, that your spirit vibrates at a frequency others cannot hear. While they rush through life numb to eternity, you pick up whispers embedded in ordinary moments. Divine nudges hidden in silence. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. Is it not true that you've sensed deeper meaning in times others called mundane, that light you carry? Unexplainable, yet undeniable, is no fantasy, it is calling. And this call is no accident. You were chosen, marked, and set apart for reasons larger than your surroundings. September 30 is one of those reasons. Revelation is never wasted. God entrusts it to those who will act. Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. Amos 3-7. Why do you think you are hearing this now? In this exact season, it is because your heart is tuned to heaven's frequency. Your spirit open like an instrument resonating with the divine conductor. This is no coincidence, it is alignment. The architecture of your destiny is built with precision. Every event like a keystone arch, locking you into your purpose. Your mission is greater than your neighborhood, greater than your career, greater even than your immediate desires. Others may laugh, scroll past, or dismiss this warning as superstition. But their mockery does not dismantle truth. Deep in your soul, this message vibrates like a tuning fork, awakening something ancient that has always been within you. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. Can you feel how those words burn with recognition in your bones? This perception is both a gift and a burden. On September 30, your ability to sense beyond the surface will either guard you like armor or, if dulled by distraction, leave you vulnerable. Which outcome will you choose? That is why vigilance is non-negotiable. Stay alert. Stay quiet. Stay spiritually attuned. You are the eyes for those who have gone blind, the ears for those who have chosen deafness. Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the people of Israel, so hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. Ezekiel 33-7. This role is not about superiority, but about stewardship. When you listen and obey, you become a lifeline for others stumbling in the dark. Do you not realize that your stillness, your obedience, your refusal to compromise may be the very rope another soul clings to when the storm rages? Ordinary people have lived this truth. A fisherman named Mateo from a small port in Chile once told his children that he always read the winds before casting his net. "The waves speak," he said, "and only the patient hears them." His ability to listen preserved his family when reckless men lost their boats. Does this not mirror your assignment? The world mocks the unseen, but those who listen to subtle signs survive the storms that pride blinds others to. Your purpose is not to blend in, but to stand firm, to lead when the masses scatter, to be a tower when others collapse. In psychology, there is a term, cognitive dissonance, describing the chaos of believing one thing while living another. On September 30, millions will live in that fracture, but you are called into congruence, into alignment of faith and action. Will you obey when it costs you comfort? Will you remain when it isolates you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1-9. Chosen one, rise. Rise not in pride, but in purpose. Rise not because you seek applause, but because heaven demands your stance. Rise as the watchman, the leader, the one who obeys when others falter. September 30 is not a day for drifting, it is a day for destiny. Rise, for this is the moment you were prepared for, and eternity waits to see your faith ignite. This day will not diminish your gift, it will amplify it, sharpen it, bring it into focus like a lens suddenly cleared of fog. Do not hide what has been entrusted to you. Use it to shield your spirit and intercede for those still stumbling in blindness. September 30 will not slip in like a whisper. It will roar in silence, carrying cosmic signs etched into the skies, an eclipse. Solar tremors, shifts in the heavens that will look ordinary to the distracted, but sound like thunder to the awakened. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish. Luke 21:25. Can you already sense the shift? And the spiritual electricity building like static before a storm. The world may call it coincidence, but deep within you, truth burns like fire, declaring that what is coming has been appointed long before you drew breath. The sky itself will speak, but only the awakened will understand its language. This day is not merely about the light dimming, but about what that darkness unveils. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Psalm 19:1. Throughout history, God has spoken through the heavens. A star guided the Magi to the birthplace of Christ, and a darkened sky marked his crucifixion as creation groaned with him. Every eclipse has been more than astronomy, it has been punctuation in eternity. A pause where the veil between dimensions thins. Does it not stir your spirit to think the Creator still uses his own architecture of galaxies as his scroll? And is it not staggering that you, chosen one, are alive at such a time to read the heavens as divine handwriting? The eclipse on September 30 is one of those divine punctuations. A celestial exclamation saying, "Pay attention." If you are spiritually tuned, you will not just watch, you will feel. Your body will notice the shift in pressure. Your soul will catch the stillness as the atmosphere holds its breath. Your spirit will recognize the call to silence. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. The air itself will seem charged. And yet, in that stillness, direction will whisper. Will you recognize the shift as an invitation or dismiss it as coincidence? What if the very silence of this day carries the blueprint of your next season? And missing it means wandering without direction for years. These signs are not sent to terrify you. They are designed to guide you. The sky becomes a mirror reflecting the condition of your heart, exposing hidden motives, magnifying both light and shadow. An eclipse strips away distraction, forcing you to confront what lingers beneath. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare, Hebrews 4:13. But distraction blinds. If you let noise consume you, the mirror shatters. How can you hear a whisper in a stadium of chaos? That is why stillness is not optional, it is the doorway to revelation. When you still have your heart, the mirror does not just reflect, it transforms, revealing not only who you are, but who you are becoming under God's hand. Lift your gaze not only with your eyes, but with your heart. The signs are there, already inscribed. The real question is, will you understand them? God is not a beggar of attention. Once God has spoken, twice have I heard this, that power belongs to God. Psalm 62:11. He speaks once, clearly, profoundly, through prophets, messengers, and signs. But he does not chase the indifferent. Could it be that what you are reading now is the last clear warning before the curtain lifts? Will you gamble on another message when heaven has already spoken? How dangerous it is to demand thunder when the whisper is already in your ear. To wait for drama while missing the depth of his quiet voice. It is tempting to believe there will always be another sign, another knock at the door, another chance to prepare. But what if there isn't? What if this is the final note before the symphony shifts into a new movement? In physics, resonance occurs when frequencies align perfectly, unleashing power that shakes foundations. September 30 is such a resonance, a divine alignment where heaven and earth meet. If you ignore the vibration now, will you hear it again? Many before missed their moment because they delayed, thinking grace was a revolving door. Yet doors of grace do not remain open forever. Delay is not neutral, it is dangerous. For in waiting too long, you may discover the door has shut, and silence has replaced the invitation. History testifies of the cost of delay. Pharaoh hardened his heart through plague after plague, dismissing each sign as temporary until his kingdom drowned in loss. His arrogance whispers a warning: delay can destroy destiny. In contrast, Rahab in Jericho recognized the signs, seized the moment, and her obedience preserved her family. Which story will echo your name, Pharaoh's stubbornness or Rahab's discernment? And if God placed such stories in Scripture, is it not because he wants you to see yourself in them, to measure your choices against theirs? The past is not just memory, it is a mirror for your present, calling you to choose life while the choice is still yours. Ordinary lives carry this truth. A young farmer named Elias from rural Kenya once told his children, "When clouds gather on the horizon, I don't wait for rain to fall on my head. I take cover while others laugh." His humility preserved his harvest when storms swept away careless neighbors. Do his words not echo heaven's cry that preparation is not paranoia but wisdom? And if even farmers in fields know to act before the storm breaks, why would a chosen one delay when heaven itself cries out with signs? The wisdom of the ordinary confirms the urgency of the eternal. September 30 is not a door to doom, it is a door to awakening. Not everyone will walk through. But you have been entrusted with sight, others lack. The message has already been delivered. Quietly, yet powerfully. Written not in fire across the sky, but whispered into your heart. What more confirmation do you need? Faith is not waiting for lightning, it is moving when the whisper comes. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Chosen one, rise. Rise into silence that hears the whisper. Rise into discernment that pierces deception. Rise into obedience that steps through the door while it is open. September 30 is not a day to fear, it is a threshold into clarity. Step through now, for eternity has already leaned forward to see who will awaken. And if eternity leans forward, how much more must you rise? For this is the hour you were created to stand. Chosen one, we have walked through warnings, signs, and revelations. And now it is clear, September 30 is not just another date on a calendar. It is a divine threshold, a day where obedience will separate the steadfast from the distracted, the awakened from the blind. You have been entrusted with this message for a reason. Do not waste it. Guard your spirit. Prepare your sanctuary and stay aligned with heaven's instruction. What you do on that day will echo far beyond 24 hours. It will ripple into your destiny. If this word has stirred your soul, I invite you to stand with this community of chosen ones. Like this video. Share it, so the warning and the hope reach those who need it most. Comment 777 as a declaration that you are awake and aligned. And subscribe so you never miss what God is releasing for his people in this season. Every step you take here strengthens not just you, but the collective shield of light rising against the darkness. To those who have supported me through super thanks, I thank you deeply from my heart. And to those who simply watch, listen, and stay faithful. Know that your presence and your prayers are priceless. This mission continues because of you, all of you. I leave you with this blessing. May God's covering surround you. May his peace anchor you. May his wisdom guide you. And may his light break through every shadow that tries to touch you. You are chosen. You are protected. And you are loved. Walk in that truth. And when September 30 arrives, you will not tremble, you will stand.